Hey, what's up? We are All Time Low, half
Hi.
of All Time Low anyway.
Hi.
And this is 4-Track History. All right, so track 1, Dear Maria, Count Me In. This was really the song that kind of accidentally started it all for us. I mean,
Yeah, and
we had no idea at the time that it was going to be what it became for us.
it was written in. It goes all the way back to we actually wrote it in Ryan's mom's parents' basement.
Yep.
So
Yep.
it was like a original All Time Low track written in the basement.
In
and
the homestead.
we didn't actually really have words or lyrics, or we just had a melody kind of. And
Yeah.
Zach actually came up with a lot of the progressions, I think, and I remember.
Zach came in with like the palm muted riff, and it's just a
Yeah.
4-chord progression. It's super simple, but it just, I don't know. It
Back then,
became
that's
very,
how everything started, you know. So
It became very, very kind of signature to the song, and we got in with Matt Squire and
Yeah.
started working on the song. And I remember I had a very different kind of layout to the song, and Matt Squire was like, "This is not how you write a song. There's no
lyrically,
structure
the
to
chorus
this."
was a little different.
Yeah. There was no structure to the song at all, and so that was really one of the stepping stones of kind of when we began to learn that songs had structure and patterns and things. It wasn't just like throw these random ideas out. So we, developed it into more of a chorus, and we wrote these verses, and we just, I don't know, even back then I don't think we had any idea that that song would carry the way it has for us. And I think the funniest thing about that one was the cough. The cough has become such like a signature thing in our catalog, I guess, and people kind of reference it as like a culture moment thing for that scene. And like, it makes me laugh because it was something I vehemently didn't want to do. I just cleared my throat literally to sing a take, and Matt Squire was like, "I think we should leave that in." And I remember all of us were like, "No, we should not."
Yeah.
And he was like insistent upon us leaving it in, and sure enough, it's like very much kind of become
He
its
knew.
own moment.
The funny
So,
part about
well done,
Dear,
Matt
Dear
Squire.
Maria is I feel like there's other songs on the record that personally, at least I thought, could have been like a bigger song or a bigger breakout song for us. And
I mean, we didn't even lead with that as a single.
I think
we did 6 Feet Under the
6 Feet was the
Stars.
first one. I also thought Vegas or 6 Feet would be the songs.
Let
that
It
kind
Roll
of,
was
yeah,
one that
would
we
kind of
felt
take
was
us to the
singly.
next level, but it ended up being Dear Maria. So that was kind of the dark horse on the album.
Yeah. Track 2, Weightless, is the song that I think kind of, if someone were to ask me how to define All Time Low with one song, I would reference Weightless. I think that's the one that's sort of like across the board has a bit of everything that we do wrapped into one. And it, that was our sophomore record. You have a lot to prove with the second album, and that song kind of carried the weight.
There we go. I've told the story only a couple of times, but we were in the studio one day and we were kind of having trouble. All of us kind of had a little bit of writer's block.
Yep.
And we were all kind of, messing around.
We were struggling.
We were kind of being shitheads that day. We were just like messing around, and Squire's like, and
we couldn't focus.
We were like 19 or 20. We were really young and just kind of being jackasses. And Squire was like, "Yo, everyone, get out of the studio. Let me and Alex write." And so me and Ryan and Zach went to Chipotle. And
as you do,
we got lunch and we came back, and in the 45 minutes, essentially the song was almost written completely.
Yeah,
we
managed to focus up and suddenly came up with that riff, and then all of a sudden the song just clicked. And it's funny because it started with like it was really the first time that we had like used a sampled beat for a song. So it was kind of like breaking new ground for us, even though I guess looking back on it now, it really wasn't anything that revolutionary, but like the idea of using electronic drums and things was pretty foreign to us at the time. So it kind of cracked the whole thing open, and from there the whole record sort of flowed and flowed. Yeah.
Actually, you know what? Another answer about that. That was the first song that people heard off Nothing Personal.
Yes.
It
was.
We booked a Fall Out Boy tour, and we were like, we need to release music before we go into our Fall Out Boy new music. So we put that song out, and we played it on that tour for the first time. So that was a cool thing.
It was huge. I remember the first time we played it ever, we screwed it up really bad.
Mesa Amphitheater in Arizona. Yeah.
We played it horribly, and it's gotten better since.
A little bit,
thankfully. Track 3, Dirty Laundry, off our latest album, Last Young Renegade. It was such a different song for us to push as a single, and I think that was really important to us with that record. The record itself felt like it was living in its own little bubble universe that we had created, and we wanted to put out something that was going to make people go, wait, what? That's an all-time low song? Interesting. And so I think it served its purpose really well. The song came out and people were very caught off guard by it. And I think every now and then you kind of have to do that as a band. When you've been a band for as long as we have, you can't just keep churning out the same song over and over again. I think every now and then you need to shake things up, and that song certainly did that for us. It was, to me, I wrote it with some friends. We all worked on it together, and what really spoke to me was the lyrical content, the idea of seeing the good and the bad and taking it sort of evenly, and realizing that real love has its ups and downs, and real relationships have their ups and downs. And I think that record itself is a lot about growing up, and that song encapsulates that perfectly.
Yeah, I've had a lot of people, especially people like my age and who have been in long-term relationships, come up to me and say that song really helped them, and it's good to see that other people have been through that same situation, and that was kind of nice. And I remember when Alex sent me the demo of it, I was in my parents' kitchen in Baltimore, and he was in LA, and he's like, dude, what do you think of this? He's like, have an open mind, it's kind of different. He sent it to me, and I lost it. I listened to it immediately 10 times in a row and texted him. I was like, dude, this is my favorite song you've written in a long time. So I remember that moment really well.
Yeah. Track 4, Birthday, just a fun song that we had lying around. It was we after Last Young Renegade had some legs and was cruising and out there in the world, we got back in the studio and started writing again, just to scratch the creative itch, and that song came to be.
There's a cool story about how you wrote it, though. Or about
yeah. I mean, so basically, we were on tour, and I believe we were in Sweden or somewhere like that, and we had this Marshall amp that had a bunch of built-in sounds and tones and weird effects and things like that. And so I was just sitting there with my guitar and my voice note open, trying to write riffs, and I found the tone and the effect that created that first opening riff of the song that is very central to the entire song. It kind of pedals through the whole thing, and recorded it into my phone and never thought about it again. And then fast forward to when we were writing, we ended up, I was kind of scrolling through my notes and I pulled that one up. I was like, that's actually really cool. We should try to recreate that. And we couldn't make it sound the same. So I sent the voice note to Colin, our producer, and he loaded it directly into Pro Tools, and somehow it just sounded okay. And I hadn't played it to a click, none of it was on time. We managed to finagle it into a place where it worked and create a loop out of it,
which is crazy to think about. That that's an iPhone microphone.
Yeah,
you
literally.
Know what I mean?
And it kind of became the backbone of the entire song. So that song would not exist without that weird day months prior in Sweden in the dressing room.
Thanks, Sweden.
Cool. Thanks, Sweden. Yeah, the video is just good fun, We wanted to do something. Everything on Last Young Renegade was kind of dark and vibey in a different sort of tone for us, and so with this video we wanted to kind of polar opposite of that. We went pastel colors and just weird, surreal birthday cake fun.
One of the scenes we're kind of spinning around.
Cake worship.
We're spinning around and doing cake worship, weird culty stuff, and we kind of our chairs weren't completely secured super well, yeah. And Ryan just flew off and he was on a chair.
There's footage
backwards.
of it somewhere of him just flying off this, because we were literally on a spinning.
He got kind of fucked up actually.
Yeah.
That must have hurt pretty bad.
He's okay. We're still paying his medical bills, but he's okay.
Yeah. When he walks left, his body goes right now.
He can't see out of one eye.
But he's fine. He looks good. That's all that matters.